WrestleMania 42. The grandest stage of them all. The night when champions are made and legacies are cemented. But imagine if one of the biggest moments of the evening wasn't just about the two men in the ring competing for supremacy, but about a shocking alliance that nobody saw coming. Imagine if John Cena, one of the greatest competitors in professional wrestling history, decided that the moment had arrived to help Randy Orton defeat Cody Rhodes. And imagine what that single moment would mean for the entire landscape of professional wrestling. This isn't just about interference. This isn't just about one person helping another person win a match. This is about understanding the deeper narrative threads that would make such an alliance not just shocking, but absolutely essential to the storytelling of professional wrestling right now. John Cena has spent his entire career building a legacy of honor, of fighting the good fight, of standing for what's right. But Cena is also someone who understands that wrestling is about more than surface-level morality. Cena has been in this business long enough to recognize that sometimes the narratives we believe in shift beneath our feet. Sometimes the person we thought was the hero turns out to be operating from a place of entitlement. And sometimes the person we thought was the villain is actually the most honest voice in the room. Cody Rhodes has built his entire return on a narrative of destiny. The American Nightmare coming back to finish what his father started. The man with a vision, with a plan, with a predetermined path to reclaim what he believes he deserves. But here's the thing about destinies in professional wrestling: sometimes destiny is just another word for entitlement. Sometimes the path you've planned for yourself is actually blinding you to what's really happening around you. Randy Orton, on the other hand, represents something different. Orton is a third-generation wrestler who never needed to prove his lineage. He never needed to return from anywhere. He's been here the entire time, evolving, adapting, understanding the business on a level that goes beyond the surface narrative. Randy Orton is someone who has competed at the highest level for nearly 2 decades, and he knows exactly what it takes to not just survive in this business, but to evolve within it. So why would John Cena align with Randy Orton at WrestleMania 42? Because Cena has seen something that the rest of us have been missing. He's seen that Cody's narrative, while compelling, has become a cage. It's become something that limits rather than expands. And Randy Orton represents the possibility of something different. Randy represents the idea that you don't need a predetermined destiny to matter. You don't need a legacy to prove. You just need to be excellent at what you do. When Cena enters that ring on WrestleMania 42 and stands beside Orton, it's a moment that forces everyone watching to reassess everything they thought they understood about these three men. It's Cena saying that he sees the game differently than we do. It's Cena declaring that sometimes the right choice isn't the obvious choice. Sometimes the right choice is the one that nobody expected. Think about what this moment does to Cody Rhodes psychologically. Cody has built his entire narrative on the idea that he's the protagonist of his own story. He's the one who gets to decide where his journey goes. He's the one who controls his destiny. But when John Cena stands across from him at WrestleMania, when the two of them stand together against Cody, Cody realizes something deeply unsettling: his destiny is not his own. His narrative is something that other people can affect. His path is not guaranteed. This is where the brilliance of such an alliance lies. It's not just about the physical competition in the ring. It's about the psychological warfare that precedes it. It's about Cody going into WrestleMania believing that he's going to face one opponent, only to discover that he's actually facing two of the greatest wrestlers in modern professional wrestling history working in concert. Randy Orton brings a different dimension to this narrative. For years, Orton has been playing second fiddle to other wrestlers' stories. He's been the reliable talent, the third-generation wrestler who doesn't need the spotlight because he knows his position is secure. But when John Cena aligns with him at WrestleMania, it's a statement that Randy has evolved beyond being a supporting character in other people's stories. It's a declaration that Randy Orton is an absolute force in his own right. What's particularly fascinating about this alliance is the message it sends to the entire roster. It says that no matter how well constructed your narrative is, no matter how much you believe in your own destiny, there are forces in professional wrestling that can reshape your reality in an instant. It says that wrestling is ultimately about excellence and about people recognizing excellence in others, even if those people are your supposed opponents. John Cena has always been someone who understands the theatrical nature of professional wrestling. He's someone who gets that this business is about telling stories that matter to people. But Cena has also reached a point in his career where he's asking deeper questions. He's asking whether the narratives we celebrate are actually the right ones. He's asking whether consistency and reliability, the qualities that Randy Orton embodies, might be more valuable than destiny-driven paths. The moment Cena helps Orton defeat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 42, it reverberates through professional wrestling in ways that go far beyond the immediate result. It tells us that the landscape has shifted. It tells us that allegiances matter less than respect. It tells us that sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is simply acknowledging that someone else is better prepared, more skilled, or more deserving of victory than your expected opponent. For Cody Rhodes, this is a profound moment of reckoning. He built a narrative where he was going to face Randy Orton, and he was going to overcome him because that's what destiny demanded. But destiny, as it turns out, doesn't account for John Cena walking to the ring. Destiny doesn't account for two of the greatest warriors in professional wrestling deciding that something else matters more than respecting the narrative Cody constructed for himself. What makes this storytelling brilliant is that it doesn't require you to turn anybody into a villain. Cena isn't a villain for choosing this path. Orton isn't a villain for accepting Cena's assistance. They're simply making a choice that prioritizes something different from what Cody prioritizes. They're choosing excellence, respect, and honest competition over the idea of narrative destiny. The aftermath of WrestleMania 42 becomes infinitely more interesting with this outcome. How does Cody respond? Does he double down on his narrative and claim that he was robbed? Does he recognize that perhaps his understanding of his own journey was incomplete? Does he evolve? These are the questions that matter because they determine whether this loss becomes a moment of genuine character growth or a moment that hardens his perspective even further. Meanwhile, John Cena has made a statement about where he stands in professional wrestling right now. He's not about fighting for what society tells him is right. He's about recognizing excellence and supporting it, even when it goes against the grain of popular narrative. He's about being honest enough to say that sometimes someone else earned the victory more than your expected opponent did. And Randy Orton gets to stand on the WrestleMania stage having defeated an opponent with the help of John Cena, which cements his position not as a secondary character but as someone worthy of such high-level alliance. Orton gets to demonstrate that evolution and adaptation, the qualities he's brought to professional wrestling for nearly 2 decades, can ultimately triumph over destiny-driven narratives. The beauty of professional wrestling is that it allows for these moments of narrative complexity. It allows for alliances that seem shocking on the surface but make perfect sense when you understand the deeper philosophy driving them. When John Cena helps Randy Orton defeat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 42, it's not just a moment. It's a statement about what wrestling means right now, about what excellence looks like, and about the power of recognizing greatness even when it challenges our expectations. This is the kind of wrestling storytelling that goes beyond the match itself. It's about understanding character, psychology, motivation, and the larger narrative landscape. It's about recognizing that professional wrestling at its best is about complex human dynamics and philosophical conflicts, not just physical competition. If you want wrestling analysis that goes this deep, that explores the character arcs and storyline complexity that makes professional wrestling so compelling, you need to subscribe to WWE Express. We break down the stories that matter, we analyze the motivations that drive the biggest moments, and we celebrate professional wrestling as the art form that it truly is. Subscribe to WWE Express today.